Hello, boys and girls. It is I, Mrs. Lawrence. I'm here to talk today about what is a scientist again. What is a scientist? A scientist is a person who asks questions. That is very important. To be a good scientist, you must ask all the questions. There's no silly question. Scientists try different ways to answer those questions. Like Hannah, she wonders about fruits and vegetables. Are there peas the same amount in every pod? She asks. A scientist learns from her senses. Eyes, ears, nose, mouth, hands. Cammy and Tiara play with a mixture of water and cornstarch. They try to decide if it is a liquid or a solid. When I squeeze it, it feels like a solid. But it drips like a liquid, observes Tiara. Observing is a very good point, a very good vocabulary word. A scientist notices details. Nate examines seeds inside vegetables. There are actually two kinds of seeds in the cucumber. The small ones are clear, discovers Nate. I love those science words. Examine, observe, discover, details. It is all in the details. A scientist draws what she sees. Samantha shows how two liquids mix. The red droplets bead up inside the yellow liquid, observes Samantha. She is not using a purple. She saw red, so she's using a red. Oh, what a smart little girl. Scientist. Excuse me. No little girls here. No little boys for that matter either. We are all big kids. A scientist writes about what happens. Oh, so important. Tim records his observation. The checker and pencil land at the same time, but not the feather, writes Tim. You must write it down. My brains cannot hold everything all the time. We need a little help with a pencil and paper. A scientist makes comparisons. Can you say that big word comparison? By measuring. Amelia and Corey are measuring weights with the balance scale. Oh, look at that. I thought that was very interesting. Amelia, this side of the balance is higher because it is lighter, demonstrates Corey. So we explain things to each other. A scientist must count exactly. You must be precise. Emily and Stuart count how many drops of water can fit on a penny. We put 23 drops of water so far, says Emily. Oh, look how much they are concentrating, such a good scientist. A scientist looks at objects carefully to decide how to sort the best. Zoe and her group organize shoes and boots in different ways. You guys, I think this boot is longer, decides Zoe. So they talk about their thoughts. They listen to each other. They may not all agree, but they do their best to work as a team. Oh, so important. A scientist designs experiments to test a prediction. Prediction means guess. And we test things. They don't always work the first time. Do you think I was just this brilliant scientist the first time I tried something? No. I must practice and try again. Jessie plants seeds at the top of one cup and the bottom of another. I think the seeds I planted at the top will grow better than the ones at the bottom, predicts Jessie. But she will not know until she gives it time to see if her prediction experiment will work. A scientist experiments by trial and error. That means you try it, you mess up. You try it, you mess up. You try a new way, you might mess up, it might work. Nick uses a foam meat tray to make a flying object. I added a blob of clay and some paper clips on the front, and now it flies farther, he explained. A scientist must think logically. Shivani explains how she learned about the compass directions. When I ride home at the end of the day, the sun is going down over there. So that logically must be west, she figures. We do not use any silly things in science. We must think logically. Oh, we don't have time for games. Just fun experiments. A scientist keeps trying over and over. I said this over and over. You must try again. Charlie and Stuart tried to build their tower as tall as possible. They finally got more than 10 to stay on, and they celebrate when they're finally successful. Oh, I love that feeling. But most of all, a scientist has fun. Jeff and Theresa experiment with water. Let's see if we can fill up the tube through these holes, Jeff suggests. And look at the fun they are having. They are both smiling and laughing. Sometimes science gets noisy, but it is so much fun. Sometimes science is so messy, and your parents might go, oh my gosh, you're making such a mess. You say, no, I am experimenting. And then you clean it up later. All right, good luck on your job today, boys and girls.